Yes, right.
They don't have free charges, but they have charges, correct?
Okay. Yes,
Do you
sir.
understand? They don't have free charges, but they have charge. They are called bound charges, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right.
So now let me repeat for all of you. If they ask you what is a dielectric, the word insulator and polarized both should come. Okay. A polarized insulator is a dielectric. Insulator which can be polarized is a dielectric, or dielectric is the full definition that you have written on the screen. It is an insulating material, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And examples, you know. Now, this question usually comes for 2 marks. So I'll tell you what you need to write for 2 marks. 1 mark is for the definition. What are dielectric? Dielectrics are insulators which can be polarized. That is 1 mark. 1 more mark for what you will get for telling the types of dielectrics. See the next paragraph. Dielectrics are classified as polar dielectrics and non-polar dielectrics. Therefore, write on the side heading types of dielectrics. Write on the side heading types of dielectrics. Write down. First one, polar dielectric. First one, polar dielectric. And the second one, non-polar dielectric. First one is polar dielectric. And the second one is non-polar dielectric. Written?
Yes,
Now
sir.
this is for 2 marks. Now if the question comes for 3 marks, you have to also explain what is polar and what is non-polar. Don't have to explain, you have to tell them the difference between polar and non-polar. Okay, it's very easy. So let us do this topic again. What is a dielectric? Everyone knows. It is an insulator which can be polarized. How many types of dielectrics are there? 2 types. One is polar, one is non-polar. It's
Sir,
actually
if
in
the
chemistry, you have a
definition-
polar molecule and non-polar molecule. Have you studied in chemistry? Polar molecule and non-polar molecule. Have you
Yes,
studied
sir.
this topic? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So listen to this.
Sir, if the definition itself says that we polarize it, then how come we have non-polar dielectrics?
Non-polar dielectrics, I'll tell you why. I'll finish non-polar, then I'll tell you what is the meaning. Okay, polar and non-polar. Okay, Aryan. Aryan, yeah. Now listen. We'll first do what is a polar molecule. Now remember one thing. Polar means an angle. In chemistry also we have, and non-polar means non-angle. What is polar? Angle. And what is non-polar? Non-angle.
Non-polar.
It is not the meaning. I'm telling you how to remember. Polar. Remember polar as the word angle. Means there is an angle form. Now if you read the definition of polar molecule, say this. The molecule in which center of mass of positive charges do not coincide with the center of mass of negative charges because of asymmetric shape. For example, water. Just check. Now, can I say if water H2O, can I say the center of H, O and H are not in a straight line? Means they form one angle. Do you understand? The centers of each molecule do not coincide with a straight line because of their asymmetric shape. Therefore, can I say all polar molecules will have some angle?
Yes, sir.
So can I say if you remember the word polar as angle, you will easily get the answer. Means an angle should be there. Tell me, when does an angle come? An angle will come when all 3 points are not on the same line. Tell me, how do I get an angle? When all 3 points are at different lines, then only can I say I can get an angle. Similarly, polar molecule is a molecule in which I join the center of each molecule, that is positive and negative. They do not coincide, means they do not come in a straight line. That is why they are called as polar molecule. Did you understand? Example, water. I think this topic is there even in chemistry. In that you also have the angle. Tell me, have you studied this? Polar molecule. Example, water.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see the definition of a polar molecule. A molecule in which center of mass of all the molecules means of positive, does not coincide with the center of mass of negative. Okay. Because of its asymmetric shape, and the molecule is called as polar molecule. Now, center of mass, can I say center of mass of a sphere is the center of the sphere itself? Think about it. If you have studied rotational motion,
Yes.
center of mass of a sphere is the center itself.
Only if
So
it
can I
is
say
uniform.
if I join the centers of water molecule, do they form a straight line? No.
No, sir.
If they do not form a straight line, means they have an angle. If
Yes,
they have
sir.
an angle, they are called polar. Easy? Listen to this again.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you are asked, you have to look at the molecule, you have to join the center. If you're joining the center and if you're getting an angle, that means it is polar. But if you're not getting any angle, means if you're getting a straight line, for example, look at the next one. If I'm joining and if I get a straight line over here, check. Can I say these are non-polar? Means no angle is formed.
Yes, sir.
So whenever you get a molecule, what you need to do is you need to join the center. If you join the centers and if you get a straight line, means no angle means non-polar. But if you join the center and if you get an angle, then it is polar. Easy. Therefore, can I
Yes.
say to get an angle, the centers have to be different, means they cannot coincide. That itself is the definition of polar molecule. Check the definition. A molecule in which center of mass of positive does not coincide with center of mass of negative is called as polar because of asymmetric shape. Can you write that much under polar molecule? Therefore, write down side heading polar dielectric or polar molecule. Write down side heading polar molecule or polar dielectric.
Sir, but polar molecule have charges, right?
Yes. Write down the paragraph which I have underlined first. Finished?
Sir, here the
Now,
center of
yes,
mass
sir.
of electrons is the center of mass of oxygen, right? And protons is for
In this
atoms.
example, but in
Yes,
general,
sir.
I'll tell you, an atom consists of positive and negative, correct? Both. So you have to join the center of everything. Understood? Positive and negative, you have to join the center itself. So in general, we can say if all the centers are aligned, non-polar. If they are not aligned, polar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see the next line of polar. Now, what is the meaning of moment? Magnetic moment, electric moment, dipole moment. Actually, moment depends on angle. Okay. Sin theta or cos theta, depending on which chapter you're doing. But moment depends on angle. Can I say since moment depends on angle, who should have dipole moment? Polar or non-polar? Polar
Yeah.
should have, because polar is the one which has an angle. Non-polar has non-angle. Therefore, can I say since polar has an angle, they will always have a magnetic moment or an electric moment or a dipole moment. Therefore, can I say they have a permanent dipole? Can you predict what will be the same sentence for non-polar molecule?
No dipole moment.
They have no dipole. Correct?
Kritika, mic.
So now listen to me. I have given you this. Okay, make a note of this also. Make a note of this as your second point. So see here, polar, angle, moment, all are synonymous. Synonymous means they go together. Think about it. Polar, angle, moment. Correct? Understood how? Therefore, can I say the best way to remember polar molecule is map? Listen to this. Everyone, switch on your cam and look at me. The best way to remember is map. Map means they will have a moment, they will have an angle. That is why they are polar. Do you understand? So can I say polar molecule can be remembered by the code word map? Moment, angle, polar, all go together. And if you remember polar, can I say non-polar is exactly opposite? Can I say non-polar is exactly opposite?
So
So now, if you have finished this, we'll go to the next section, which is non-polar. Can we go there?
yes, so
Now, can I say you can easily tell the 2 points? Now, just look at this. Can I say it will be exactly the opposite? Now, let me underline. A molecule in which center of mass of the positive coincides with the center of mass of negative charges is called as non-polar molecule. These have symmetrical shape, means straight line when you join, and have zero dipole moment in normal state. And these are the examples, H2 and CO2. Easy?
sir, in
Can I say
normal
exactly?
state means
Come again?
normal state means like
Normal state, there is two states. One is normal state and one is excited state, correct? Excited state means when I'm applying any external field, external charge, that is excited state. But here I'm not applying any external. That is why it is non-polar. Do you understand?
but even if it is external, it will be I mean external field is applied, it will remain non-polar, right?
Yeah, it will be non-polar. But I'll tell you mathematically why people say this is not correct. Everyone look at me. Can I say here there is no angle, correct? Because it is straight. But according to maths, can I say angle is still 180? There is some angle, but that is 180. But in physics and chemistry, we consider this as no angle. But actually, can I say mathematically there is an angle?
Yes, sir.
But it is a planar angle. Means it is 180. So 180 we don't consider because they coincide. Okay. But even in excited state, Tanush, you're correct. They will not differ much. They will not differ. They'll be slightly polarized, but on its own, it will be polarized itself, non-polarized itself.
Okay, sir. Got it.
So now you have to write the side non-polar molecule and write whatever I have underlined. Only that. Whatever I have underlined. Once you're done, please put a dot.
Done, sir.
We have to write whole paragraph.
Someone was saying something?
We have to write whole paragraph.
No, you have to write till where I've underlined. That one was from here to here. And then you have to show this to examples.
So that
And wait.
Okay. I'll write, yeah, Tanush, I am aware. I'm going to be there. I want all of you to go through today's class, all the definitions that we have done. Think equipotential surface, conductor, insulator, free charge, bound charge, dielectric, polar dielectric, non-polar dielectric. Revise all 8 within 2 minutes. All are important, all are very easy, all can be defined in one sentence. Start. I'll repeat. Equipotential surface, conductor, insulator, free charge, bound charge, dielectric, polar dielectric, non-polar dielectric. Start.
Sir, will you share this PDF along with magnetic materials?
Magnetic materials PDF is not shared.
No, sir.
No, sir, not
No,
yet.
sir.
I will 1 minute. You start revising. I will share it right now. 1 minute. In ICSE group, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wait, I will share it.
Sir, Andheri also.
I'll share it in all 4 groups. Magnetic materials, electrostatics 1, what I did last class, all the problems. I think last class problems I've shared, right?
Yes, that you have shared, sir.
Okay, then I'll share this and magnetic materials. Give me 1 minute. I'll do it right now. I've shared it. Both the materials. Now look at the screen. Now we need to know what are the dielectric constants for various materials. Okay. Now you don't need to remember for all, but I'll tell you this will come as an MCQ, especially 12th standard. In 2018, what had come was what is dielectric constant for a metal? Look at this. Can I say dielectric constant for a metal is infinity and dielectric constant of air is 1? Can I say when refractive index of air is 1, even dielectric constant of air is 1? Therefore, you need to know the dielectric constants of various materials. Which one you need to remember is first one is air. Metals is very, very important. Okay, then
Sir, and what are those minimum and maximum values?
what happened?
What
Come
are
again?
those minimum and maximum values?
Maximum values mean, see, dielectric constants. Actually, they are constant, but even between normal state and excited state, between polarizing and non-polarizing, what are the values it can come up to? So, for example, before you answer an exam, okay, before you answer an exam, you know you will get minimum so much and so much, and you know you'll get maximum so much and so much, depending on what you have studied. Now, if the paper comes easy, can I say I can score this much? But sometimes you have not studied some chapter. So you know this is the maximum I can get, and this is the minimum I can get, however the paper comes. But some substances will get the same irrespective of however the paper is. For example, if you have not studied anything, can I say if the paper comes easy or if the paper comes tough, I'm going to get zero because I've not studied anything? Or
Yes,
if I've
sir.
studied everything, can I say if the paper comes easy or tough, I will get full marks? Therefore, can I say for metals, it is like doesn't matter how it is always infinity. For air, not studied anything, can I say it will always be one? But for other materials, it depends on some condition. Like for example, for student, it depends on the type of question paper. For the metals and for the non-metals, what are there on the table, it depends on the polarizing state, it depends on the external field, it depends on the excitation levels, and many other factors. Based on that, their values can go from some minimum to some maximum. But mostly it will stay near the maximum itself, but we have to remember the range. But for a 12th standard, usually what they give you is, they give you air and they give you metal. Okay. Also, they give you quartz because quartz also has a constant value. Check.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
What
just
about ebonite?
okay, ebonite, right? Ebonite is also constant, but it is not an integer. It doesn't come. For MHCET also it does not come. For JEE, all these values are important. That means if you are answering JEE by any chance, or if you're attempting, you need to know the whole table. If you're just attempting boards plus CET, whatever I have circled, that you need to.
So we have to write all or all which you have marked.
Only which I have marked. Only which I have marked. You have to write the side heading as it is, dielectric constants of various materials. In that, air and metals are mandatory. You have to write that perfectly. Air and metals.
Sir, we have to write this table.
Only what I have circled that. Six things I have circled like that. Okay, done.
Yes, sir.
Done, sir.
Done.
Done, sir.
Yes, sir. Done.
Is the screen visible or it's gone?
No, sir. It is not
Gone, sir.
visible. No.
Okay. Now listen. You know from our few table, everyone switch on your cam. You know from our few table, V is equal to ER, correct? From our few table, V is
Yes, sir.
equal to ER. But when we go into further details, we realize that field is actually negative potential. Field is actually negative potential. Therefore, actually, if I go in terms of differential, you'll have a derivation also of this. I have actually it is V is equal to ER, correct? V is equal to ER or EX, depending on the displacement. But actually, if I differentiate, I realize that my potential is negative of the field because of displacement current. All that we will do it later. But these two formulae are very, very important, especially
Also,
for your
E is
ML.
constant, right?
Which one?
E is constant, right?
V is constant inside a conductor,
E,
but
E.
outside the conductor,
Electric
E,
field.
outside the conductor, if it is a uniform electric field, it is constant. If it is not a uniform electric field, it is not a constant. E can only be a constant if it is uniform. Understood? What is the meaning of
Yes.
constant? Uniform. Therefore, write on the side heading, relation between field and potential, and write down this. dV is equal to minus E into dx, or E is equal to minus dV by dx. And what does it mean? It means this. I'll tell you what does the word gradient also mean.
Sir, can you repeat what we have to write?
You have to remember the formula E is equal to minus dV by dx when it is differential. You know what is d by dx? Differential. When you're taking differential potential, differential displacement, in that case, my potential and electric field are related as E is equal to minus dV by dx. And here they have said it is potential gradient. Can anyone tell me what is gradient? Can
No.
anyone tell me what is
Sir,
gradient?
because it depends on the x or distance,
No.
we call it potential gradient.
But correct, that is potential gradient. But my question is, what do you mean by gradient?
Slope.
Gradient is,
differentiation with respect to x.
yes.
Differentiation with respect to x. So can I say anytime when the denominator is displacement, it is called gradient? And whatever is in the numerator, it will be called that gradient. For example, over here in the numerator, I have potential. So it is called potential gradient. If in the numerator I had velocity, it would be velocity gradient. So whatever is in the numerator, it will be that gradient. You might have studied a lot of gradients in your part 1 also. Viscosity gradient is there, velocity gradient is there. Here you have potential gradient. Gradient means anything divided by displacement. That is the meaning of the word gradient. E is equal to minus dv by dx. Written?
Sir, we have to write this.
You have to write whatever I have underlined and whatever I put a box on. So you have to write from relation between field and potential. You have to write that box and you have to write below that the statement also. And make a note of your homework below that.
Done, sir.
Sir, wait a minute.
Last 10 seconds. Now next topic is a dipole. Right on the side, right? It will be electric dipole in this case. In magnetism, it will be magnetic dipole. In this chapter, it will be electric dipole. Now look at the definition of a dipole. Can anyone define what is a dipole in your own words? Can anyone define what is a dipole in your own words?
It's basically the strength depending over the length. Product of.
See here. This is the code word. Okay. Now listen to this. How do you remember the definition of a dipole? Two equal opposite charges separated by some distance is called a dipole. Repeat in your mind. Two equal opposite charges separated by some distance is called a dipole. Repeat. Two equal opposite charges which are separated by some distance is called a dipole. For example, if I have a charge plus Q, if I have a charge minus Q, they are separated by certain distance. This will be called a dipole. Why? Because are they two charges? Yes. Are they equal in magnitude? Yes. Are they opposite in polarity? Yes. Are they separated by some finite distance? Yes. Then it is called a dipole. For example, if I take a battery, look at this. There is a battery over here. Can I say battery has two charges, positive and negative? Correct? Two. Both are equal.
Yes.
Both are opposite in polarity, and both are separated by some distance. Therefore, battery also can be called a dipole. Do you understand?
So can you repeat?
Therefore, two equal opposite charges separated by some finite distance is called a dipole. Easy.
Yes,
That is why the diagram of the dipole, can I say it satisfies the definition? Okay, now let me repeat the definition. Two equal opposite charges separated by some distance. In this case, the distance is 2L, correct? Length of a dipole is always 2L. For example, a magnet is a dipole. In 11th standard, what was magnetic length? 2L. Do you remember?
yes.
11th standard, your magnetic length also was 2L because magnet also is a dipole. But that is magnetic dipole. We are talking about electric dipole. Okay, therefore, write down the side heading dipole first. Write down the side heading dipole.
Sir, can you
Write down
repeat?
the side heading dipole and first draw the diagram of a dipole. First, draw the diagram of a dipole. Switch on your cam, all of you. Side heading dipole and draw the diagram of a dipole. Please remember, the length of a dipole is always 2L. You know why? Because from one charge to the center, it is L. From the center to the other charge, it is one more L. Therefore, the total length will be 2L. Do you get it? Total length of a dipole is 2L. Not L, it is 2L. L is only from one charge to the center. From other charge to the other center, that is from the center to the other charge, it is one more L. Therefore, the total length of a dipole is 2L. So just draw the diagram of a dipole first. Below that, write down the definition. Below that, write down the definition. 2 equal, this is just for your understanding. Okay, I have given. This is a code word. 2 equal opposite charges two equal opposite charges two equal opposite charges separated by a finite distance. Two equal opposite charges separated by a finite distance two equal opposite charges separated by a finite distance. Two equal opposite charges separated by a finite distance
Which dipole moment?
is called an electric dipole. Is called an electric dipole.
We call the same as dipole moment, right?
No, it is dipole. Dipole is different. Dipole moment is different. Okay, what is a dipole is different, and dipole moment is different. Two different definitions. So I've written the definition of dipole. Below that, write down the length of a dipole is denoted by 2L. The length of a dipole is denoted by 2L.
And sir, how will we define the dipole moment?
I'll tell you. That will come next. I'll come to that.
Okay.
The length of a dipole is denoted by 2L. Can you tell me what will be the SI unit of dipole length? It will be meter itself because SI unit of length is meter. So can I say the SI unit of dipole length is also meter? Written? So what is
the
a
SI
dipole?
unit of
If I ask you-
dipole?
If I ask you what is the definition of a dipole, you're supposed to say two equal opposite charges separated by a finite distance is called a dipole, and the length of a dipole is denoted by 2L, and the SI unit of dipole length is 2L. That is meter.
What
Next
is
time,
the
thing.
SI unit of dipole?
There is no SI unit of dipole. Dipole is a phenomenon. It is not a measurable thing. Okay. Now, next, right hand side heading, dipole moment P vector. Dipole moment P vector, small letter P vector. In part 1, small letter P stands for momentum, correct? In part 1, small letter P stands for momentum. In part 2, small letter P vector stands for dipole moment.
This one differs
And
by
the
vector.
formula for dipole moment is magnitude of any one of the charge into dipole length. Magnitude of any one of the charge into dipole length. Similar to magnetic moment of 11th standard, just check. What was magnetic moment in 11th standard? Look at this. Magnetic moment was Qm into 2L. That was pole strength into magnetic length. Remember 11th
Yes,
standard?
sure.
So instead of pole strength, I have only a charge over here. 2L remains the same, length of a dipole. Therefore, on your screen, I have written this formula for dipole moment. Just check.
In the first part, P doesn't has a vector sign, right?
In the first part, momentum.
Yes.
Momentum, can I say, can be a vector because it is mass into velocity, where velocity has
Yes,
a
sure. Right. But we don't show it so that we can differ.
correct. Utkarsh, I cannot see you. Utkarsh. Got. So write down dipole moment P vector is equal to Q into 2L. Written the formula. Dipole moment formula is Q into 2L. Now, can you tell me what can be the SI unit of dipole moment? What can be the SI unit of dipole?
Coulomb into meter.
Coulomb meter. Can I say charge
Yes.
is coulomb? And the dipole length is meter. Therefore, the SI unit of dipole moment is coulomb. Make a note. Make a note. So you have finished. What is the dipole? Everyone, tell me if you can manage the definition of dipole. Two equal opposite charges separated by a finite distance is called as a dipole. And what is the formula for dipole moment? Q into 2L is the formula for dipole moment. Now, torque acting in an electric field on a dipole. What is the torque acting on a dipole? The formula is torque is equal to P vector cross E vector. Now, you know what is the meaning of cross product? Cross product is sine product. Therefore, can I also write it as PE sine theta? Where what does P stand for? P stands for dipole moment. And what does E stand for? Electric field. What does E stand for? Electric field. Therefore, please look at the screen. Torque acting on a dipole formula is P vector cross E vector or PE sine theta. I hope everyone knows A cross B means AB sine theta. Therefore, start writing. Torque acting on a dipole. Side heading. Torque acting on a dipole in an electric field. Torque acting on a dipole in an electric field. What is the formula? P vector cross E vector, which is PE sine theta. That is P vector cross E vector, which is nothing but PE sine theta. Okay, written. And
Yes, sir.
the last formula for today is work done. Work done is nothing but integration of torque. Okay, work done is nothing but integration of torque. Write down this formula, then I'll tell you the final formula for work done. Work done is nothing but integration of torque. Now tell me, what is integration of PE sin theta? Anyone? P and E will be constants. Therefore, tell me, what will be the integration of
Cos
PE sin theta?
P
So
cos
minus PE cos
Minus
theta,
cos
because
theta.
integration of sin theta is minus cos theta.
Yes,
Therefore, can I say work done can be written as this formula, minus PE cos theta? Correct? Therefore, work done is integration of torque, and torque is nothing but PE sin theta. And if I integrate PE sin theta, I get minus PE cos theta. For that, you should know that integration of sin theta is nothing but minus cos theta. So listen to this. This is your dipole. This is your dipole moment. This is your torque. And this is your work done. All four things you should know. Definition of a dipole, formula for dipole moment, formula for torque, and formula for work done. Check whether you can manage all.
sir. And initial angle and final angle is the product, cross product angle, right?
No, initial angle and final angle, I'll tell you. There is a dipole which is already at 30 degree, which is rotated, and final angle becomes 90 degree. Therefore, then initial angle becomes 30, and the angle to which it is rotated becomes final. That is when I'm rotating a dipole, that time initial angle and final angle will come. That way.
Right, sir. Got it.
So there are four things on your screen related to a dipole. I want all of you to be comfortable with all four. What is the dipole? What is the dipole moment? What is torque? And what is work done? Okay. Now, last problem for today. After this, I will do 8.15. Someone wanted 8.15. That was last class, last problem. But for today's class, okay, please look at the screen. Okay. Minus PE cos theta can also be
Sir,
written
what
as
did you say
PE.
about 8.15?
Last class, I had done one problem where someone wanted me to do it again. Last class, last problem, which I will do it again. Now look at this problem. Don't solve it. Don't solve it. Read it and just do the first part. Means what is the maximum torque exerted, not the work done, because work done there is a different way to do it, which I'll teach you later. Tell me if you can understand the torque. Read the question. Read the answer only of torque, not of work done. Tell me if you have understood. Don't solve it. Just read it and let me know.
Sir, why did we take angle as 90?
Because maximum torque happens when theta is maximum, or when
Okay,
sin theta is
got it.
maximum. When is sin theta maximum? When theta is 90. That is. And if they had asked minimum, minimum would be 0. Correct? Minimum torque would be 0 because theta would be 0 and sin 0 will be 0. Therefore, entire torque would become 0. Yeah.
Yes.
All of you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you once go on the previous slide?
This one?
No, that's only first part we have to do now.
Only first one, only torque. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So we'll continue with the concepts in the next class. Next class, remember, we are doing Gauss theorem, very, very important part of electrostatics. Therefore, please don't bunk the next lecture. Okay, it is a 2-hour topic. I'll do that 2-hour topic. 3 derivations. Very easy, but you need to be attentive in the class. So next class, we're going to do Gauss theorem. Okay, for today, we are stopping. If you have doubt or if you wanted me to solve that problem, stay back. Otherwise, your class is over. You can go for your 9 o'clock class. Okay, so I'll wait till all of you log out, and then people who remain, I will solve your doubts. Okay. Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye, sir. Thank
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Point one.
Okay, we will start with the doubts. 8.14. Case, sir, which one? 8.14. I should explain this case, sir.
Sir, 8.13.
Okay, 8.14 first I'll explain. Okay, sir. This is the question you wanted, right? So listen. An electric dipole consists of 2 opposite charges, each of magnitude 1 microcoulomb. Now 1 microcoulomb means charge is 10 power minus 6 coulomb. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
And it is separated by a distance of 2 centimeter. Means dipole length or the length of a dipole is 2 into 10 power minus 2 meter. And the dipole is placed in an electric field of 10 power 5. Dipole is placed in an electric field of 10 power 5. What is the maximum torque? Now, what is the formula for maximum torque? Okay, sir. Actually, what is the formula for torque? The formula for torque
T is
is P E sine theta. Correct? This is the formula for torque. Now,
Yes.
in this formula for torque, if I want maximum torque, it will be only PE because sine theta has to be equal to 1 for maximum torque. Now, torque is equal to P. You studied that P is dipole moment and the formula is Q into 2L. Do you remember this formula? The formula
Yes,
for
sir.
P is Q into 2L into E, electric field. Now, Q is given in the question, yes. Is the length given? Yes. Is electric field given? Yes. So multiply these 3 things. Which three things you have to multiply? The three things that are given. This into this into this. You will get your answer. Did you understand, Kesar?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now let me take the next question. 8.13.
13.
That was, I think, last class, correct? This one?
Yes, sir. So the solving part.
Solving part, we'll do it. The solving part means I have to do from this step, correct? So
Yes,
listen.
sir.
1 by 4 pi epsilon naught means 9 into 10 power 9, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now what is charge 1 given as? Minus 2 micro. That means minus 2 into 10 power minus 6. And Q2 is given as 4, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it will be 4 into 10 power minus 6 divided by the distance. Now the distance is given as minus 8 to 8. Therefore, distance is 16 into 10 power minus 2. 16 centimeter means 16 into 10 power minus 2. Till here it is clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, V equal to, tell me, 10 power 9 and 10 power minus 6. What will you get?
3.
10 power plus 3. Now 10 power plus 3 and 10 power minus 6, how much will you get?
Minus 3.
10 power minus 3, correct? Therefore, can I say in the numerator, I will get 10 power minus 3. Therefore, I can remove this. I can remove this and I can remove this and I can write it or I can replace it by 10 power minus 3, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I take minus 2 to the numerator, can I say it will become plus 2?
Yes, sir.
If I take minus 2 to the numerator, can I say it will become plus 2? Therefore, this minus 2 will go here. What is 10 power minus 3 plus 2?
10 power minus 1.
10 power minus 1. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is 9 into 2
Minus 18.
into 4?
Minus 72.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now then. 72 by 16.
4.5.
4.5 into 10 power minus 1 is 0.45 minus.
Yes, sir. Sir,
That's
इधर 0.45 दिया है.
That is fine. You're just taking the magnitude.
सर
Hmm.
सर अगर माइनस आया तो भी पॉजिटिव में ही लिखना है.
No, if you get minus, you can write, no problem. That minus indicates just the direction. That this is over here, this is over here. Both will be considered.
सर वही डाउट था बस माइनस मेरा आ रहा.
Okay, that is fine. That is fine. You can give the answer minus, no problem at all. Okay?
थैंक यू सर.
Thank you. Any other doubt anyone else has? Let me know. Yeah, Anuj, I will share it with you. No problem. Okay, with that, I think there are no further doubts. We will continue in the next class. Thank you all of you and bye-bye.